Hi guys, today I'm back with my second video for my Sims Career Builds challenge. In my first video, I fully explained the challenge, but essentially I am building houses for professions within The Sims using the IRL salary in the UK. I've seen another streamer do this, but I am doing the UK version. Today is going to be the first video in a three-part series for my teacher profession. In the UK, teachers, professors, lecturers, it's a huge range of earnings. So I am doing three houses. They're going to be terraced houses, starting off with the average teacher salary, which is £18,878. That is ridiculous, but that's the reality of being a teacher in the UK. Let me know how that compares to your country and if you think this is ridiculous or not, because I don't think teachers are paid enough. I'm also going to be doing lecturer next door and professor next door to that, and the salaries go up, up, up. So if you're interested in those ones, please hit subscribe and I will do them in the future. Anyway, moving on to the build, I have set my funds to £18,878 and off we go. So this house is going to be a terraced house. It's going to be, as I explained, one of three terraced houses on the street. This is going to be the cheapest terraced house, so it's also going to be the smallest. I know that sounds a bit weird, like different sized terraced houses, but I have seen it in the UK where, you know, one of the terraced houses has got an extension, or like one is got an extra floor or something. So I'm just going to do it kind of like that. They're not going to be all uniform, but I'm basing this off a typical British terrace house. I have actually lived in a similar style house to this before. So what I wanted it to be is you walk in and you've got the living room and then you go through the living room to the kitchen. That is very typical in the UK. However, I end up having to make this house even smaller. I probably could have made this size work, but I wanted to be able to fill it with clutter because I think that's what's pretty within Sims houses. So I end up actually deleting that back room, which upstairs is the bathroom. So I end up deleting that and then making the living room space even smaller. And I honestly think it turns out really cute in the end. It's really cozy and I have plenty of money left over for clutter, which I absolutely love. The story for this lady is that she's a primary school teacher and she has a baby. She is single, so you'll see her bedroom's quite small. It does have a double bed because I think every adult should have a double bed, but you can only get into it from one side, which is fine because she's single. The two things you need for a teacher profession in Sims is you need research and debate and charisma. I don't have a research and debate machine in this house because they are 12,000 simoleons, which would be most of our budget. But I thought, right, she's a teacher. If she needs to do any proper research on the research machine, she will go to the library, to the school building or whatever and do that research. She's got Mirror to practice her skill at home. It feels like a cop-out, but it will work well with the three buildings that I do. Like for the professor, I will include that machine. They will probably have a whole room dedicated to research papers and stuff like that because that makes more sense. But I didn't think the teacher needed it. That's kind of why I gave her a baby, because otherwise she only needs a mirror. So here is my original living room design. I hate this so much. Oh, it's such a big space and I'm trying to bring in colour. Because she's a primary school teacher, to me, they like colour. Maybe this is silly and stereotypical, but I'm thinking she's a really fun primary school teacher. I'm picturing Miss Honey from Matilda, is that? Yeah, Matilda. Miss Honey. So I end up adding like plants and colour, but this is just not hitting. So I removed it. I left it and then I came back to it and I'm so glad I did. Currently I am finding out that stairs are really expensive. I had these rails. These are actually the cheapest rails, but I like them. This is what my banister, I think that's what it's called. It's what my banister is like in my house now. Anyway, I've moved on to the baby's room. Oh my god, the amount of chaos that I go through doing this build. I chop between so many rooms. I knew when I was doing this that it was going to be difficult to record a voiceover. It's more because I'm playing with a small budget. So I put in the essentials in each room. As you can see, I'm putting in the essentials in the bedroom. And here we have the mirror. There we go. Skills ticked off. That's all she needs to be a teacher, a mirror. I'm putting in some clothes and stuff. So I put in the essentials and then I move on to the next building. sorry. Then I move on to the next room, and I come back at the end and add in more clutter. I actually hate this blind so much because it's not covering anything because I've sized it up, but there really isn't many blind options in The Sims, which is really annoying. So anyway, this is where I've realised I do not have enough money and I start making the house smaller. This back portion here becomes the bathroom. Don't worry, I make it bigger, I promise. I made the baby bedroom smaller because it's just a nursery, right? It doesn't need loads of space. But this, I love it. It's so cozy, it's so cute, so small. And now I can really get into building my kitchen diner. Yes, they are now one room, which I kind of didn't want to do. I wanted separate rooms, but with 18k, you just can't afford it. So I start by putting in this really ugly kitchen, like cabinet color scheme, just because I'm like, well, this is a lower class house, you know, it's the cheapest available. It's so ugly. I changed the counters. I do keep the ugly oven, fridge and sink because, you know, something's gotta look ugly, right? We can't have it all. And this ugly chair. But then I add some colour. Here we go. This is where I start getting all colourful and I'm thinking, yes, she's trying her best. You know, maybe she's painted the counters herself and like done the vinyl. Like that's what I would do if I didn't have much money but wanted to change my kitchen. Like it can be done. Then I move on to the living room. Definitely think she needs a TV, but TVs are expensive. So while I'm doing the bathroom, I'm thinking, what can I do with the TV? I end up cheating. Do not come at me for cheating on this TV in the living room. She needed a TV and I was not placing in a box TV because no one in this day and age is having one of them big box TVs. I even try it. You'll see in a minute, but I've put in a little rug to just separate that area up. I think this is actually quite a cute little setup, like I wouldn't mind it myself. I toy around with tables for a minute and then I realised that a console table, which is designed for TVs, is actually the cheapest. But yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to keep this TV in because no one in 2024 has one of these TVs. So I actually take the cheapest of the flat screen TVs and I scale it up. I'm sorry, I scaled it up. Here's me trying to place it and then I'm like, oh, maybe I could just do this. But yeah, I'm pretty much done on the essentials for this house. I do know I still have some more in the baby room, but I've got 6k left. I am doing a good job here. I go in and I put all my baby items in and honestly this nursery is so cute. One thing I've done in one of my past builds is make a changing table for the baby, but to do this you have to take an ottoman and like lift it up and resize it, and that is expensive because you're using loads of items just to make a small item. It looks really cool and I really like it, but for this build it's about saving money, so I didn't do it. Anyway, I thought a teacher is going to need a place to plan her lessons, so I made her a little desk. I didn't put a computer in because you don't actually need a computer to be a teacher. You probably need them for like the lecturer and professor because you need to write the papers. However, the teacher does not need it. After doing that, that is everything complete, everything I need, and I have loads of money left for cluttering up, which makes me so happy. I just kind of take all of these little empty spaces and fill them with bits and bobs. I'm trying to keep it cheap, but definitely thinking about what the teacher would want. So that bowl was 200 simoleons. It was quite expensive, but it's a nice little place to put the keys, and I don't know, to me it's important. Here I am adding in the kitchen clutter, and as you can see I have made the bread bin the painted version, and that is what inspired me to put down this flower pot. I can't remember what it's called. It's something like the most special pot or something, and I end up putting down 3 because in my mind these are things that her little students have painted for her and given to her, and because she's such a sweet primary school teacher she keeps them all. So you may see a few little childlike DIY crafting sort of things dotted around the house. But yeah, I'm just adding some picture frames to the baby room, adding in the curtains because we need curtains on pretty much every window. And these are the cards. I'm thinking these are end of year cards. Thank you, teacher, those sort of things. I've then noticed that there's no books in this house. There is the baby bookcase for the baby books, but she needs place for her books. So I stuff a bunch of books under this table. I then go into her bedroom and add a big shelf above her bed. I have one of these in my room. I really like it. It's just a great place to put some stuff. So I'm thinking she's got her plants, she's got her personal books, and then we have another decoration from one of her students and some candles because being a teacher is stressful, so she needs some way to relax. Anyway, moving on to the outside. Remember, this is going to be one of 3 terraced houses, so the garden is not going to go further past the 2 exterior walls of the house, the like left and right walls. So just to have some front garden space, I have pushed the house back a little bit, and then I draw her a path with these little cobbled stones, mainly because it's cheaper than paying for the tiles because terrain paint is free. And then this felt a little bit cheaty because this is a debug item, I think it is anyway, or like a live edit item. But I put these in and then I lower them into the ground to make them look like the outside of the path, like the path border. Most UK terraced houses will have dividers between the houses, like on the front gardens, because you've got the walls to separate them, but then what about the front gardens? So I play around with the bushes, but I think I need something more private, I need something taller. So I used these from is it like the Perfect Garden, the Love Garden? It was a free pack we got, I can't remember what the pack's called. But then I start making her little flower patch, and this is where the Miss Honey from Matilda inspiration comes in. Like, already this is gorgeous, and then I start adding in some yellow flowers, and this is my favourite part of the whole build. I love it. I've added a border of rocks again. Ideally I would use proper rocks, but we're on a budget here, okay? And then I put in some of these sunflowers. I mess around with the sizes a little bit, and then I start turning them yellow, and it all comes together. This is absolutely adorable. Like, I'm so obsessed. You'll see in the screenshots, but there are multiple screenshots of this little flower patch. I add in some drain pipes because UK houses, maybe that's in all houses, but I don't tend to see them in American builds. UK houses, we have drain pipes. Just a little bit of extra decoration. And then my final cheat of this build is this is free. This is a free fence from the live edit or debug menu, I can't remember which. The only reason that I cheated on that is because I wanted the fence to be right up to the front of the house, and the only way you can do it is if you place a fence item rather than draw a fence. So sue me, okay? Just adding in some pictures with the final bits of money that I have and a little bit of clutter, taking me down to 7, giving me enough for one final flower pot. And then this brings us to the screenshots. I hope you guys like this video. I actually love how this turned out. It was more of a challenge than I expected. I really thought I could do a lot more with 18k. I should have learned from my 10k budget, but I'm so happy with how this turned out. I think I did a great job with what I had. As always, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and follow me over on Twitch for variety content. Rain_X, I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 PM UK time.